Lost in the dark. It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne.
And Michelle.
And we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Welcome back, Crap Crow! We are back. Here we are for part 2 of 2021's Filthy 15 Album of the Year list. We are here with numbers. We did 15 through 10 last time. On this one, we're doing 9 through 4. And it ends on quite a good teaser. So, we're doing 9 through 4 on this one. Top 3 and honorable mentions. I'm not sure if I'm going to break that up into 2 or not, but this is number 9 through 4 on our Filthy 15 Album of the Year list, and it gets wild! You're going to love this one, I promise. There's a lot of great shit on this. We go over a lot of great albums on this episode, but before we get into that, we got a couple podcast shout-outs real quick, all the way from Wisconsin, our brothers in the Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast, hosted by Garrett the Cookie Commander Smith and Mike the Master Milker Segovia. They fucking join these two best friends as they try to figure out this thing we call life using friends, guests, and microphones. Absolutely, like, one of my favorite podcasts ever. They have these, like, amazing fucking segments, massive fan interaction, the Master Milker's Mysterious Mysteries, the question of the week, which they ask on their Facebook every week. And if you reply, they will shout you out on the show. I love that so much. So everybody be sure to follow all things Dipping Milk in Cookies. Garrett, the Cookie Commander Smith, of course, also the guitarist of the wonderful Milwaukee band Reflection of Flesh, that we just announced a brand new tour, so we'll be seeing them again here in person in a couple months, and I am beyond excited. I cannot fucking wait to see these guys again live, because they are just amazing. Just amazing. So everybody be sure to check out all things Reflections of Flesh and Dipping Milk in Cookies. Next up, as always, you heard them at the top. They did that great read for us, Wayne and Michelle from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. Coming to you from the glacial dumping grounds known as the Michigan Basin, Wayne and Michelle are a husband and wife, educator, and podcasting duo that since having their own paranormal experience in March of 2018, examine UFOs and other paranormal topics within Michigan and beyond. Topics include the paranormal, conspiracy theories, ghosts, alternative history of the Michigan Dogman, Bigfoot, and cryptids, and all things strange and paranormal. This podcast, in terms of paranormal podcast, is just a gift that keeps giving. Every single time they have someone new on, I end up going down every rabbit hole. It's just nothing but exciting to me to watch them, and they just released episode 21, 22, something like that, just over Christmas break, kinda, and they're coming back very soon with a whole lot more. I have enjoyed getting to know them so much, and they mean the world to me from the bottom of my heart, and we'll be doing more with them over the course of this next year, fingers crossed. I love these two to death, and I can't wait to get into more paranormal topics with them. So everybody, check out all things Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And don't forget the Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast. One thing real quick that I do want to mention before we get into this one, though, is that from the bottom of my heart, I do want to apologize. I want to send a huge apology to David, the drummer of Scream at the Sky. I fucked your name up, bro, in that last one, and I'm really sorry for that. I should have said it in the intro to the first one, but I am just dog shit with names. I'm so bad with names. It's unbelievable. But I do want to make that correction formally and officially. I wanted to make that correction. I know that I fucked your name up when I was talking about, and I literally listened to Stay in the Clouds earlier tonight again. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I fucked that up. And I missed so many things to talk about. That's the fucked up thing about these Album of the Year lists is like so often we forget so many things that we want to say about this amazing, amazing music that these people are putting out. And that's the only downside. That's the only downside to doing these is that like every time we go back and watch them, it's always like, fuck, we forgot so many things every single time. But from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to send out that apology, and I wanted to send out an apology to anything I fucked up that may have fucked up in any of this. But know that it was not intentional, and I totally, it was just all me. So I did want to make a mention at least and formally address that because I genuinely did feel bad. I remembered that I fucked it up and I was like, fuck me. And I couldn't go back in and change it at that point, so because it's already like uploaded and shit. So, I did want to make a formal apology right here for that, and just know that I cannot fucking wait to see you guys live again, and all of you, everybody on this list. So, and if I've messed anything up, I apologize so much deeply. I'm just so bad with, whether it be names of people, names of songs, names of albums, I'm just bad with that shit. But, know that it's never intentional, and you all mean the fucking world to me. So I just wanted to, jump in real quick I did want to address that. So, without further ado, we're getting into this episode. Here it is, everyone! Lost in the Darks 2021 Filthy 15, numbers 9 through 4. Buckle up and enjoy. Moving on to number 9.
Cracking the top 10.
Cracking the top 10, baby.
I feel like this
into
one. Yeah, we're
deep.
in shit. Yeah.
We are deep. We are going. And number 9 is a doozy.
It is. This is a band that much like Carnifex, much like Black Dahlia Murder, much like Despised Icon, Suicide Silence, The High Artist Murder, to a lesser degree, a little later on. That kind of like they found their niche with their genre and then completely changed their approach to it and made it their own. And I even struggle to call it deathcore at this point because this album
they've evolved.
Yeah, pretty
Drastically. Like,
massive. Yeah, and the album I'm talking about is fucking Kin from Whitechapel. Jesus, where did I even start?
Well, you start by showing everybody the little secret in the cover.
Yeah. So for context, this, until like we were talking about this album one night, and I was like, oh, like the cover is pretty sweet. I was like, it kind of calls back to like it calls back to the Valley or whatever we're talking into. And you were like, yeah, apparently there's like a devil on the cover or whatever that, or no, it was because we were talking about the podcast that Phil was on.
Jamie Josta.
Yeah, we were talking about the Josta episode with him on it, and he was talking about the artwork, and he was like, yeah, there's like a devil figure in the shadow in the middle of it. And we were like, you mentioned that, and I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, no, there isn't. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, I can't unsee that now. So like every time I look at it, it's just, yeah. which perfectly makes sense with what the record is about. So this, for anybody who doesn't know, they put out a record called The Valley in 2019, which was a concept record, which was I like because Whitechapel's done concept records before, but they haven't really been quite the same as they were on The Valley. Like it wasn't like a story that they were trying to tell. It was just kind of like a loose concept that they were following. The Valley talks about Phil Bozeman, the vocalist, his struggles living where he was in, as a kid. It talks about all of his, the family struggles and everything like that. All of the, and I'm gonna just say, like, nobody should have to be subjected to that. Nobody should have to be, to go through that as a kid, as to see their own mom, their own family just be completely torn apart by this. And it's all, it has a lot, and I won't get too much into it because I couldn't even begin to do justice to the story. If you're interested, Phil Bozeman has a lot of podcasts that he's done, where he talks about the whole concept of what led him to writing The Valley, to just the real life stuff. And I'm not gonna go into that because again, I feel like to really understand the weight of what happened, and just the weight that inspired these two records, I can't really touch it. So if you want that, go and look it up yourself, because it's not only that, but it would take me a long time to explain. But basically, there was a lot of, on The Valley, there was a lot of, and I guess we'll just get into it. So a lot of The Valley was very, from a music standpoint, it was very, experimental for them. I feel like it was kind of one of the first times where they had ever taken the elements of, I mean, we've talked a lot about deathcore on this episode, but taking a lot of the elements of deathcore and really kind of they sort of stepped away from it, but they also, like, they don't ever really say directly that they're they, because I mean, a lot of bands from that era, from that year or whatever, just there's a certain kind of vibe that comes with the deathcore genre. I suppose there's a lot of, like, I don't want to say stigma, because it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's a lot of, like, the general idea of like what deathcore is, and it gets kind of lumped in with a lot of stuff. It's very, like, a lot of, like, chug riffs, a lot of, like, guttural vocals, a lot of, like, it's like deathcore, or it's like death metal, but like a little more, like, with a little more groove, with a little more, like, not so much like the riffs, but more of the, like, just the the more, like, beat down kind of parts with it. Which is where they started at. And so to hear the with and I guess to kind of go in with The Valley, what I was talking about was that, like, that record really, I feel like, for them, really kind of changed the game for their sound and for their genre, and for what they've been trying to do since they became a band. Because it just, we hadn't really ever heard the storytelling element of the band. And for me, I feel like that just painted this very, like, real picture of just listening to the story of somebody's life, just as they were growing up, and just all the stuff that they went through. So there's a lot of that, but this album in particular is about, like, what were to happen if the main character, i.e. being Phil, or whoever's writing the lyrics, never actually left the valley, never actually left that place. They never
really.
Yeah, that's how he explains it in the EP, or just not in the EP, the like, a lot of the video stuff I've seen. So, like, the valley is kind of like the real life sort of iteration of what happened when he was a kid and stuff, and talking about all of the, with a lot of, like, symbolism with a lot of other stuff that happened, you know, to be able to tell it in a musical sense, you know, because you can't, like, it's, you know, you like when you're whenever you're trying to write a concept for anything, like, it's, you know, there's got to be an element of, like, you know, like suspended reality, I guess, you know, and that's sort of what the Valley felt like to me. It was a real life telling of his experiences and what happened, but it was done in such a way that it was told of, like, you know, like he was more of a character in the story versus telling exactly what happened, you know what I mean? um and so for Kin, it's kind of more of a, like I said, it's the story of what I would feel like of somebody dealing with what actually happened in the Valley, what actually happened on the last record, like what actually, you know, like what he was talking about, but then it's like really truly dealing with what that means, and ultimately what it means to deal with loss, you know, what it means to have that kind of, you know, just really, um I don't want to say, how do I want to put this, like like it's a bit more of a grounded record than the Valley was, because I feel like the Valley was a little more, it was a little more up tempo, it was a little more, you know, telling the story just kind of um from a little more of a violent standpoint, because you know, admittedly, like that record has a little more, like I said, it's a little more up tempo. Like there are some songs on it that are a little bit slower. They have some more like actual vocals and actual singing in it and stuff, which they've kind of alluded to in the last couple records, but they really double down on the clean stuff and in on the more like vibey kind of, you know, actually painting this picture of this person that had really gone through, you know, just this traumatic experience, man. Like it was, and that's kind of what sticks with me, is like there's a lot of, you know, so I, you know, and why I feel like I kind of picked up the vinyl over the record is, you know, for one, I just the art standpoint itself, like I've you know become a bit of a sucker for vinyl variants and for colors and stuff, which I'll show off in a second, because it's definitely worth seeing. But what I love about the vinyl format is that it allows for, if you're listening to the full experience of something, if you're actually, you know, trying to sit down and listen to a full record as the story is, you have different sides to it, right? So you got side A, which is I Will Find You, Lost Boy, Blood Soaked Symphony, which are the two singles, and then Anti-Cure, which is a bit more of like the up tempo kind of, like, you know, sort of stuff that you heard on the Valley. I guess it's kind of more of like it's a little more of that kind of sound. I love Anti-Cure. I think it has one of the coolest, and it reminds me of like Third Depth off of the Valley, where it's like the kind of like it's the slower song off the album. But I love Phil's vocals on it. I think that the way that they have been able to add in that element of the actual, you know, just the singing element of it, I think is great, and I think it fits so well with this music. And it's such a natural progression for them just to add all this stuff in. So that's side A, and then side B, the ones that made us, History is Silent, To the Wolves, and Orphan. Orphan being the other slower song off of it. They also made a video for that. The ones that made us is really, really heavy. It's really good. There's a line in it where he says, they're waiting for the boy that turned his own they're waiting for the boy that turned his home to ash, the boy that left his shield on the hill that he had sworn to die on. Which kind of calls back to like the Valley kind of stuff. So it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of that like introspective sort of, you know, like this person trying to understand what all happened. And then side C is Without You, Without Us, and then Kin, which is the last song. Without You is once again an instrumental track, which is funny that like as soon as you said that, it was like every album after that has had an instrumental track on it. But it's beautiful, man. Like it really, like this album more than The Valley really, like I said, it's about, ultimately it's about dealing with loss. It's about, just the human side of like, the reality of the situation, and just to hear, The Ones That Made Us is another one. History Silent is one where, it's a lot more singing on it, and honestly the last three songs have more actual singing on it than they do screaming, which is pretty different for Whitechapel. Anybody that knows them knows why that's kind of weird. But to me, it makes sense with the theme of the record. It makes sense that, within that, like History Silent is another, like it's that song sticks out to me in the lineup where it's at, because To the Wolves is a very heavy song. Like it starts with, it's got a lot of blast beats in it. It's a very like, very like slower kind of down tempo song, but it all of the songs that are on it have its place. Like it's one of those that you just, like by the end of it, the last song, Kin, like if I start at top to bottom, it's one of those that like when I hit those last three songs, like I just kind of start like, it's hit me pretty hard. Like I've kind of like the first time I put this on was to listen to it through the vinyl all the way through, because I just wanted that experience. Same with the last one I'm going to talk about. But when I hit that last song, dude, I kind of lost it, just because I felt it. Like it had just been, it'd been such like a heavy year and everything. Like I'd been anticipating this for a little while, and knowing what I knew based off of, just being The Valley, just being what it was, and just how much I enjoyed that, I knew I was going to like this, but I didn't think that it was going to be quite as introspective and quite as, as much of a record that just kind of sticks with you afterward, like after the last note plays. But it does, one of my favorite things about it is it does one of, it's able to give you the best of the heavy that they're capable of. Like a Blood Soaked Symphony's become one of my favorite songs of the year, and one of my favorite songs that they've ever done in general. I love like there's that line about says like what is it? I'm gonna look it up. Look into it. He says, my conscience froze when I felt the cold embrace of the hand that crafted me. I set my soul ablaze. I crawled through the nether and left a suicide letter next to my own severed head. I think I should be dead, but that's the beauty of selling yourself to sin. But again, we are men craving winter's end and wishing life without our origin again.
Oof.
The door to immortality is shut. I can't take much more of the scent of mold. This sphere of madness burning in my gut has trapped me to this house again. Talking about The Valley. He says there's a song called Third Depth on The Valley. He mentions that as well. I'm not sure if it's in this song or not, but yeah, just it's lyrics like that just like kind of roll off the tongue, and just kind of, it's like, ooh, yeah, like that
was good.
Cool, but it like makes sense within the story and stuff. So yeah, I want to show off a bit of this vinyl, man, because this it's fucking beautiful. And one of the reasons that I just got more into it is just like the overall just layout of it all. I'm gonna kind of show it off here. So there's obviously the main bit. Open it up.
Ooh.
There's some liner notes inside of it. Some thank yous and shit. So yeah.
Oh, damn. I don't even think I've seen that yet.
Yeah. So
Holy shit. That's
somebody out
cool.
there is yelling at me for handling vinyl inappropriately. The other side of it as well.
Oh, that looks so neat.
It's all darker. And then I've gotten a few like this, and the other side of it is because there's the last, like I mentioned, the third side of it is the last 3 songs on the album, and then the last half of it, like there's nothing on it. So on the other side of it, there is like the little star symbol I was showing you. It's just kind of in the white, so I'll have to show you, and it's kind of hard to even do justice to it here, but yeah. So there we go.
Whoa.
Can't tell where I'm grabbing it from. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you really can't see it. I guess it's kind of in the glare of it.
Oh, I kind of see. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then on the other side is just the regular.
That's sick.
So yeah, man. And when I first put this on, I started, and then immediately afterwards, I was like, I gotta listen to that again. Like it was so good, and it just stuck with me so much. And like both this album and the last one I want to talk about, like pretty much stayed in the room with the player for like the last like few months. Like as soon as they came out, I kept those in there because I just played them constantly. So if you haven't heard it yet, that's my long-winded explanation of why The Valley and Ken are like probably one of my favorite like double album, not really double album concept, pieces that has come out in the last few years. So if you haven't heard Ken yet, definitely give it a spin, give it a listen all the way through, because it's makes you feel something, man. Like it, and that's something that I kind of wanted to touch on as well, is like what I mentioned with, because Brand of Sacrifice and Alluvial and Vulpidinea, they all had their moments of like, that kind of like feeling, but these last 2 that I'm talking about, Whitechapel and the other one, I've been, like I said, I've been anticipating them for a while, and when I heard them, I just, there are moments that just kind of like, because it's, like I said, like Ken is very much about what I feel like is somebody really trying to understand and deal with just loss and just what that means and everything like that. And there's been a lot of that that's happened for, either personally or otherwise over the last, few years. And like, just to have something like this that comes out that just hits me the way it does and is able to kind of, just, it's like an audible hug, man. It's like, that like it's heavy and it's ugly and it's hard to deal with, but at the same time, like once it's over and like once the last song hits on this record, it just like, it's like, all right, like we can deal, we can, so that's really what I wanted to say about it. So
Beautiful.
Check it out, Ken, Whitechapel.
New one from Whitechapel makes the list at number 9. Holy hell. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, honestly, these last ones I'm going to talk about, I'm going to need your help because I don't have physical copies.
I hope I got them right here. I grabbed what I thought I had, but
well, no. On Spotify. I know you don't have.
Word. Gotcha. Yeah.
This next one, number 8, right? Yeah, number 8. This was a sleeper. This one was actually like it got sent to me and I forgot about it. I didn't get around to it for like a couple months, and then the dude hit me back up and was like, "Hey, I was just wondering if you ever checked it out or whatever." And it reminded me, and I felt terrible, and I was like, "I'm going to check this out immediately." This is a solo project, done by I want to say he pronounces his name Wame, something like that. I am fully intending on getting him on the show. And I'm talking about a band called Eonin, Eonian, and they released an EP this year called The Nomad.
Yeah, this album is sick.
This guy is a solo artist, and he just found musicians from all over the world to take part in creating this EP, which I think off the rip, that's a wild story. B, when you're doing something like that, I feel like it's a lot harder to make something this damn good, because it's just, you know what I mean? You're working with people you don't know, you're not in the same room, but you're all coming together on this one piece of art. And he managed to do it unbelievably well. This album, this EP, this 5-track, 20 minutes. Yeah. This one is like, it's got the symphonic elements of a Dimmu or a Behemoth.
Like Flesh God.
Yeah.
Really comes to mind.
There we go. Yeah. Flesh God. Absolutely. But yeah, it's got the speed of a Flesh God, or almost, for whatever reason, every time I hear it, I don't know why, it just Skeleton Witch pops in there every time.
I can see that.
Like just the way it moves, the speed of it, and how guitar driven it is.
Yeah.
And it's if I were on a horse or a ship riding through the winter, this is what I would want to be playing. Like, it's so unbelievable. It's got, because you remember, like, oh fuck, what's that album called? Death Call Armageddon.
Ooh,
like the kind of the way the symphonics work, that where it's almost cinematic.
Yeah,
that's what you get here, but like just with raw intensity and relentless groove. It's got a great groove to it. It's constantly like you're constantly headbanging, like do kind of shit. Like it's like a groovy Nordic blackened, thrashy kind of, and like the fact that he was able to put this together the way that he was blew my mind, and how fucking great it sounds. The production is amazing. The every track is a hitter. I mean, Winter Wanderer off the rep, Cleansing the Fire is amazing. Delirium is the shit. Like, it definitely has, the vocalist definitely has that black and bite, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I was just floored by this thing. Like, it not only that, it's definitely one. I mean, honestly, like everything on the list, is definitely one that I went back to a whole lot over and over. And I cannot wait to get Jame on the show to talk to him about this, because I just think the whole story of how it was put together is amazing. And the final product is nothing but impressive. And there's no other word for it. It's triumphant. It's very triumphant sounding.
Yeah.
Very up. It's very up. And just like, it's like, I don't know. It's like if a Monomarth went like a Dimmuborger route, like it's kind of like, this might be close to what it sounded like. And I think it's a really, really impressive EP. And I hope that he does more in the future. Again, this is just a solo project. This is kind of a one-off, but I really hope there's more coming from them in the future, because this was just a masterpiece.
Kind of, yeah. It really came out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
Like, one that I remember talking about, and then like as soon as I heard it, I was like, dude, this is insane.
Oh.
Like it's like some of the best like symphonic. I don't know. I struggle to call it death metal because it, but just symphonic metal, like out, bands with that kind of sound that's come out in the last little while, and yeah, like it's Dimmu, or no, it's like Amon Amarth with like blast beats, man. Like it's
kind of
pretty cool.
and not in the way like the vocals sound or anything, but like
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
I want to pull up because all of the members of this project aren't necessarily from bands from the States, so I just want to kind of showcase that real quick.
These are artists from around the world. And this is another thing. This is another thing that I want to. I'm glad you said that, because many of these artists, I heard them in an interview somewhere, and many of these artists aren't even from the genre of metal at all.
Yeah,
a lot of
which is really cool.
And he specifically wanted that because he was like, then you'll bring something into it that I wouldn't have thought of, because you're not coming from the place of metal, you're coming from somewhere else. And he was right. And the way it came together, holy shit, man. Yeah, like some of these, I mean, there's a few: Frozen Shield, Helios, Koroth, Entrails. Yeah, there's a few mentions of like other bands, but there's definitely artists on here. Yeah, like the keyboard arrangements, the orchestrations, Yeah. Oh yeah, it's those Wame is from Spain, so right there. But yeah, literally from all over the world, and they're not even all in the metal world. And so like it's just a very eclectic group of musicians coming together to work on this one thing. And I just man, everybody just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
it's something really special.
Yeah. Nomad debut includes 5 songs. Nomad was produced online and features 11 guest musicians from all over the world. Cover art from Javier Barrio.
Okay.
Pretty fucking cool looking stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I was, like I said, man, like when we first started talking about this, I know he's like this album has come up quite a few times throughout the year, and every time I go back to it, it's like it's like I said, it's the reason why I was into bands like Dimmu and Flesh God, and just these big epic like stuff that just kind of builds, like it's a big, and yeah, kind of sort of like, it's I mean, there's the shortest song is 3:37, but they have, longest one's about 5. But they fill so much of that time with so much that goes on that it never really feels like it, you ever really hear the same thing twice. Like
right.
It's really cool. I like it.
Absolutely brilliant. Hope he did tell me that they were supposed to get some physical copies into that. So hopefully they did, and I can get one. But
I love their logo that they chose.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to reach out to him to be on the show to talk more about this album. But it definitely, again, I was just going through everything, trying to narrow down this list, and that one was just like, yeah, like these, I know it's an EP and not a full length, but I can't. There are on the list that I had that I was narrowing down, there weren't that many things that I liked more than that this year. So absolutely fucking killer. Ionin, you guys fucking Wame, you rule. They take the number 8 spot on the Filthy 15 list. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just
good
brilliant.
pick. Really good pick. Yeah.
So that brings us to number 7. This is a big one.
Yes, it does. And this would be my last of my top 5
of the pretty much. Yeah, you do this one, and then I do 2 more, and then we get into the 4 that we agreed on.
Yeah. So, oh man, I'm actually pretty excited to talk about this next one because this is a band that I've been following for a long time, like since this first EP came out, like before I even knew, really before they even had any physical stuff out. Like I've been, it's been around about that time.
How long have they been around now?
That's what I was just gonna look up.
There we go.
I don't really.
Here, I got.
remember.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
All right. That was 2017.
All right.
Beat you to it. Not that it matters, but so I found this band one day, like just kind of scrolling through YouTube trying to find a specific sound, because I was like, and the thing with how I kind of search out music sometimes is I tend to look for bands or for just, well, and I guess at this time I didn't even know that this sound had just, there's a band like that sounded like this that had, just kind of what I was interested in. But I got into them when I was searching for kind of an ambient sound, but also something that was really heavy that I could kind of latch onto. The band I want to talk about is fucking Spirit Box. The record is Eternal Blue, and I bring that up because the first thing that really ever got me into them was it was 2 years ago, and it's about a 20-minute video, and I'm pretty sure it covers the first half of the Mario Effect. The Mario Effect, of course, being the first EP, first album, which is this motherfucker, which I got recently, which I got before Eternal Blue. I'm gonna show the cover off or the vinyl off in a second because it's really cool. So this, like, I mean, anybody who knows Spirit Box knows that Courtney was a part of a band called I Wrestled the Bear once, long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who were kind of like a math core band.
They were they used to play like Warped Tour, didn't they?
Yeah, I saw them on Warped Tour. I think probably before she was in it. It was either that, yeah, because I remember that their vocalist was pregnant at the time. It was a very weird, like, God, everything about that show was just weird. Like it was a Warped Tour. Like it was like the second year that I'd been there. It was about 116 outside.
Yeah.
Like
Sounds
4
about
o'clock.
right.
Yeah, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, going to some random stage to see this band that I've only heard like probably once or twice. And it just like it grabbed me, but it wasn't like Spirit Box. It was just the fact that like this band, like, I mean, really one of the only things I remember from that set was that their drummer took his hi-hat stand, grabbed it, and just started like doing like curls with it during their set while they were playing. So that was pretty fucking crazy.
That's wild.
Never seen that before. Yeah.
Right.
So, and so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then, quite a few. I mean, this is years ago that happened. I don't even really remember what year that was. It was one of the last times. It was it was the last time I was at the Palace of Auburn Hills too, it's just now defunct.
No, it's not defunct. It's gone.
It doesn't exist.
Gone. They blew it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is at least this has to be 2015 or before, probably.
Yeah. It was at least before. It might have been like either the year I graduated or like just before that.
Okay.
Because after that, Warped Tour kind of ended. So anyway, so that's that for, I guess, for a little like back in context. So that was kind of how I got into them, and then really, and that was 2 years ago, and so around, I'd say probably around about the time that they started forming, because I don't even think that, well, no, I know that the self-title was out, but I don't think that they had anything else after that, and then they put out a bunch of like singles and stuff, but really since then they hadn't really, because this is their first, like I said, this is their first EP, and the first 4 songs off of it are one big concept, which I believe is the video that I'm talking about, which is a whole like in studio kind of recording of like just like one take kind of deal with this EP, and it completely blew me away. I was hooked from the very start of it. I loved how like I'm a big fan of the Deftones. I like the, you know, when it comes to this kind of music, I like the, you know, a bit more like ambient kind of stuff, but also like when it punches in with the heavy, like just a mix of the two. It chills all day long. Like I love it. I think it inspires me to like want to write music like this, because it's so like it gets in your head a lot. But it also is just, you know, it's a good like rainy day band, you know what I mean? Like when it's just kind of gloomy out, and when you just want something that's not, it's not like crazy heavy, but it's not like, you know, the most like the softest thing you've ever heard kind of a thing. Like it's somewhere in the middle. Like, you know, you just want to like just have some kind of atmosphere that goes along with it.
Just in case we're talking to people that might not have heard them before, I do want to point out real quick that I think this might be the first time I've ever seen this on a band's Wikipedia entry. This line right here. The band's metal style is difficult to pigeonhole into a specific music genre and displays an array of styles that draw from a variety of influence and incorporate electronic elements. I don't think I've ever seen, in my entire life of looking bands up on Wikipedia, I don't think I've ever seen the band's metal style is difficult to put into a specific metal music genre. That says something. I don't think I've ever seen anybody describe any metal band that way. There's always like one little thing that they do that kind of, okay, this is kind of where they fall, but not Spirit Box. Not at all.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Wikipedia does list their genre as they do, you know, they always have multiple. They do metalcore, post-metal, progressive metal, alternative metal, so all metal, and and gent, which I think is an interesting inclusion, especially since they're from Canada. You don't hear a lot of gent coming from Canada.
Good fishing in Quebec.
Good fishing in Quebec.
Well, that was one of the things that is, because they, you know, to your point, to what you were saying, they're a trio, and
they're a trio.
Yeah, Courtney and either the guitar player or the drummer are married. So
I think it's the guitar player.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that as well. Like it's a really interesting kind of lineup. It's a very like kind of unorthodox sort of like I said, like lineup or like build of this band, but the record that I'm really talking about outside of the EP, as now, fucking great as it is.
Now hang on. What is this? Eternal Blue. That's the first one, right? So is this the one? Is this the one with the music video where she's got like flowers in her hair and stuff?
Yes. That's the one with Holy Roller on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So at least cool.
So to kind of back up, talking about Eternal Blue, like I mentioned earlier, fantastic fucking record. It's another
go full screen when you're showing the vinyl.
Yeah.
I want to see this up close.
I want to do that at the end.
All right.
It was one of those where I like I said, you know, after listening to that, and you know, because that was 2017 when they put out this album, and they only recently just started to press this on vinyl, so I was pretty fucking excited to get this. I want to show that off as well.
Neat.
Because I think it's really fucking cool, and it kind of looks like kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that's on the newest one that I got, and Whitechapel a little bit. So I got this recently, but as far as this new one goes, it's the kind of a thing where like I said, I've been following this band since this first EP, and ever since then they had put out a couple singles, they put out a few songs, they put out like, you know what, they have a whole singles collection, which is down here, which are all songs that are incredible. They're really fucking cool. They all have videos for them, but they're not on the first album.
Are they on the second, or are they just standalones?
They're just, I feel like they're just standalones because they
like
made videos. Yeah, they made videos for all of them, but they just didn't end up on the record. Blessed Be, again, didn't end up on an album. One of my favorite songs of 2020, really, and something I still jam to. Rule of Nines is another one. I think it's up here. I'm not sure. I can't really see past
Right,
the
bottom right corner.
yeah. Rule of Nines. Really like almost like Periphery sounding stuff, like really cool, like dry, like just the main chorus of the song is really cool. I like I mean, I don't really care if we get struck for this. I just want to play this fucking riff because it's just the way it comes there is so cool. Like, you know, says like bounce to it.
That's real bouncy. Yeah.
That's some cool drums to it.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that one, you know, that was 2019. No, so they've put out things like throughout the last like few years, but they hadn't really ever put out a full length record. And so when they finally announced that, and when Holy Roller came out, which is, I mean, dude, like undeniable, like just the way this comes in.
You know what this reminds me of? Hang on. We really are definitely getting struck for this.
Yeah. What were you saying? Anyway.
Dude. That reminds me of something that I'll bring up in a minute. You keep going.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So I've like I said, I've been following this band since about like 2019. Let's say, because this is 2021. The first album was 2017. The singles collection was 2019. So somewhere between 2018 and 2019, I picked up on this band.
Yeah.
So I was more than excited when they finally announced that they were putting this out and it was going to be a full length record. I like just the sound that they've been able to put together and how it all works is something that definitely deserves more than just one listen off this record. I think that like just the way Sun Killer, like it's and I guess the thing I want to preface with this is that, you know, when we talk about albums that came out this year that have not necessarily been like the heaviest things ever, but have like really kind of hit you in a certain kind of way, like that's this record to me. Like, you know, the first like Sun Killers are really fucking cool opening. I like Hurt You a lot. Hurt You was one of the singles. Yellow Jacket with Sam Carter from Architects, which is another band that I want to kind of get into in honorable mentions because they were like, again, this close to being on the list. Just really cool. Like his guest spot in it is fucking awesome. He's on the big hook of it. He's on the chorus of it, and he's also in the breakdown of it, which is cool. There's a repeating line that happens in it that's awesome. But also like it's what it is to me, and the best way I can sum this record up is like some of my favorite heavy bits that I've heard this year, and also some of like the lightest and most like accessible stuff that I've heard this year. Because, you know, you have songs like, you know, Yellow Jacket and Holy Roller, which are obvious, and Silk in the Strings, which is another heavy song that's on it, you know, which are like the heavier feel. But then there's, you know, there's songs like, you know, Secret Garden, which is another like single track. Eternal Blue, I fucking love. Eternal Blue and Summit are two of the songs that I jam to probably the most, just because they're just the the feeling behind them, and then they're like I feel like every song on this record has a moment where like just the riff comes in, or just the drums just kind of come in. Like there's where like while the songs, like some of these songs might not be super heavy, there are bits of it where that just like shine through, and that just kind of like, you know, overshadow the rest of, you know, like just the fact that like some of it might not be, you know, quite as heavy as Holy Roller. I feel like Holy Roller is probably one of the heavy songs on this album. Yeah, and then, you know, and then we get to Constance, and they like they've, you know, so the, I guess the couple of singles on it were, you know, Hurt You, Secret Garden, Holy Roller, and then Circle With Me, which I think was the last one of the last singles that were on it. Circle With Me is probably one of my favorites of the singles that they put out, just because of how it all kind of like how it all kind of wraps around and how it all kind of finishes. The hook on it's really cool. I love there's a breakdown that happens in it that kind of ends with, you know, it wraps back into the chorus, which is just this gigantic sound to it, which I love. And then Constance is a song that came out in 2020. The video came out in 2020, I believe, towards the end of the year, or if not, like maybe I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure, but I don't know, like it's somewhere like, you know, between the 2 years, I guess. And Constance is a song that they put a video out for that is about dementia and Alzheimer's. And the video, and after a very, I won't get into it, but after a pretty like personal bout with dealing with that, and, you know, and seeing the like how they show that in the video, it just it broke me, man. Like that the song itself is really sad. Like I even have a hard time listening to it now, just because of knowing what I know about what it's about and just the lyrics of it and stuff. Like it's a very touchy kind of, you know, it's a kind of a sore spot for me. But just seeing how specific they were, and how like just almost exact they were with how it feels to deal with that, and then putting it in the video, and then having the song go along with it, is just like the whole thing. Just like I remember it was a night where I was just kind of scrolling through YouTube, kind of seeing some stuff, and then I saw that they dropped a new video at like midnight or whatever, and it was, I guess it was pretty late.
And that's the best
all the time. And yeah, and I saw it, and I watched it, and dude, I must have watched it like 2 or 3 times, and like the first 2 times, dude, I just bawled, man. Like it was one of those that just hit me so hard, and I was like, this is so beautiful, and it's so like, it's so, but like how it ends with the riffs, and like they never, whenever you expect, like, you know, it just to kind of end in a way where it's just like kind of somber, they just hit you with the riffs in it, and they just like, there's always that bit of like, you know, it's just there's always that little bit of like heaviness to it. Like even in the lightest moments of it, they still draw it back, and they still like find a way to kind of make you like, you know, keep listening to it, and keep like with the riffs, and kind of like, you know, it keeps your head nodding and stuff. And like, you know, there's so much to it. There's so much to unpack on this, that like, it was another one that like I hadn't listened to it when it first came out, because I pre-ordered the record and I was waiting for it to come through to me. And then when I got it, I like sat in a room by myself, and I must have listened to it like 2 or 3 times, because I could not get enough of it. I wanted that first initial listen through to it to just be just as genuine as it could possibly be. And
yeah,
you know, same thing with Whitechapel too, just because I knew like kind of the weight of it going into it. So yeah, let me show up.
Let's see these vinyls. Yeah.
I
feel like that's how I'm gonna be with a certain album that I know is coming out later this year.
Yeah, like it's a whole thing, man. Like you know, like when you anticipate something for so long, and when you know no matter what that you're gonna enjoy it and you just want to just soak it in,
Yeah.
like that's what Eternal Blue is to me. Like it is the most like genuine, like actual kind of like real feeling thing that I've heard all year, and for it to just have the kind of weight that it does is like just keeps me listening to it. So I cannot recommend it enough. And I know this has been longer
Man,
than 5 minutes that we talked about, but
You're selling me on so much shit tonight, man.
So this is a book that I guess I'll kind of show off a little bit before, just because it's really cool. So they have so this is the cover that you'll see when you look at it, and then I'll kind of put it down and kind of flip through it a little bit. But there's
Now is that
like
water?
I'm not sure. It looks like waves. It looks like kind of like some like acrylic kind of stuff. It looks like
Oh, don't move. Holy shit, dude. Whoa. Are you seeing this? It looks 3D through the camera right now. Do you see that?
a little bit, yeah. Huh.
Whoa. That is fucking trippy.
Huh.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, it's not 3D in person? Dude, every time you like slightly move it a little bit, it almost looks like some of the waves are moving. That is tripping me out a little bit.
That's cool.
Wow.
I guess it kind of is. But yeah, so let me set this down and show you a little bit.
Yeah.
So like each of the songs has like its own little symbol kind of deal. So this is the first, like Sun Killer, and like you can't, it's kind of hard to show it through this, but like there's these pages that are kind of like transparent sort of, and they have the little symbol on it. I feel like each of the songs, each little bits of it has its own little symbol. I'll show that too.
That's cool. I can still hear you pretty well even when the microphone's set down, by the way. So
yeah, I figured I got it
good.
pretty high. So so yeah, then like as you kind of flip through it, that's the other side.
Oh.
And there's the big
Oof.
yellow jacket with the big eye. These are kind of blank, but
Neat.
silken strings. Yeah. Kind of.
Okay, I see what you mean by the transparent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Holy Roller.
Yeah.
Blue.
It's a fucking thick album.
And just the big, yeah. I was actually pretty surprised when I got this. I didn't think that the presentation of it would be as it is, but it's very well put together. It's pretty cool. Same as the cover, and then obviously the ending, which is just
dope.
Yeah. When you open
That's
it,
gorgeous.
it's all like kind of shiny, sort of.
Oh,
yeah.
That's neat.
Like that's probably one of my favorite things about this band is like the visual aspect of it and how much they put into the artwork of it, because it's so unique, and it looks like it couldn't be anything else other than Spirit Box. Like it's, it just kind of makes you think of it, and it matches the music too.
And this is something we've said from the beginning of this fucking show, is how important the album artwork is. And I just like, we're like the last genre to give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like we still, not only it's like the fans give a fuck and the bands know it. And so they still really put a lot into it. And it just blows me away when I see shit like this. This is beautiful.
I want to return to that, but yeah, and normally this is what you get when you get a vinyl, where it's just like the one sheet of a bunch of liner notes and stuff. Which is why I was so surprised that was a big book, but I want to show off the EP as well. But yeah, man. To kind of, to your point, like it just, like when I was flipping through that and I was listening to the album, like it added so much more to it, and it just I really felt like this had been an honest, release from a band that had been working on this for so long, and they actually like found a way to make it work in a time when there was so much uncertainty, when there was so much just hardship, and there was so much like just up in the air about everything, and especially knowing what I know about the fact that like they had a bit of a they had a bit of a hard time like trying to record it and stuff because they were all like remote and everything, and
Oh, they did it remotely.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, let me show off this EP because it's fucking awesome too. It kind of looks like, and I actually never showed off the So I guess I got a little more to do still. Hang on. So this is the EP, and then I guess I'll just jump right over to the actual album art, or the actual Eternal Blue.
Oh yeah, the actual vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, wait, hang on. So because you do vinyl, I don't really do vinyl. You do a lot more than me. So they don't normally come with like a whole like CD book. It's just like one sheet like you just showed.
Not like that, man. Like,
really?
I mean, this is a fucking, like, I was surprised, and this is like a book. Like, this is like a thick, fucking like lyric book that you get with everything. Versus like Whitechapel, I mean, it's kind of all you get. Like,
yeah, at least it does have the lyrics on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's a big important part.
Actually, hang on. There was something really cool that came with the Whitechapel one, which sometimes they give you some little bonus stuff, which is pretty cool. Where is it? Oh, I had it in here. What the fuck? I don't know where it's at. Sometimes you'll get like with the Whitechapel one, I got a giant fold out poster with the cover on it that's like 4 times or whatever. So like that's a lot of what you'll get with it sometimes, which is equally as cool.
Yes.
Let's see. So this is the EP. This is self-titled EP.
Okay. Oh wow.
Oh shit. I hate grabbing it like this, but
God. They are really doing amazing shit with that nowadays.
Flip it over. Yeah.
Like, you remember the world where they were all just always all black? Like,
it was, that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
It like, I know that like the color, the color variants and stuff, like some of it's just kind of like it's like, kind of like a gimmick or whatever. But like, I think it's fucking cool. Like,
we want that gimmick.
Yeah.
As metalheads, we want that gimmick. We want the Verminous slime one. We want the fucking one with the blood in it. Whatever.
Oh, dude, I saw somebody posted a video the other day of somebody got a which only, to kind of sidetrack, which only recently narrowly escaped the list, but there was a video somebody posted of this album. That's the one we might have seen the same video with some like when they moved it, the slime moved in it and stuff.
Yep. I've seen that. Yep. That's exactly what I was referencing.
Yeah. So there's that one, and then all right. So that was the EP, and then this is Eternal Blue. So this is the actual one that's on the list. So
yeah.
I don't know where that Whitechapel poster went to. I'll have to look for it. That fucking sucks. Kind of similar to the EP, but still just as cool.
Oh, that one's a splatter.
I really like it. Yeah.
I think that's called splatter.
Yeah.
God damn, that looks good.
Just very well done.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, man. Eternal Blue, Spirit Box.
Spirit Box.
Coming
in at number 7.
Yeah, I will say that probably I think it's fair to say that it's probably like the lightest, the most accessible album that I've listened to this year. but that's not to discredit the fact that I feel like the songwriting on it, and I think that just as a full album, as like a collection of songs from a band that I've been listening to for a long time, and from a band that like I've been waiting for a full length record from for at least 2 years, to be able to sit down with something like this and to listen to it top to bottom, and just to be able to have the same kind of feelings to some of these songs that I had the first time I heard them, is just, it really says something. And that is ultimately why it made its place on my list, because there is, again, it wasn't easy. Like, there's a ton of albums that could have ended up on this list, but the fact that one kind of snuck through, and actually, like, I'm still kind of in shock that I'm actually able to have, like, in my hands a full-length record from for a band like Spirit Box after following them for so long. It's really cool to me. And so that's I look forward to, I got a pretty kind of a small collection of vinyl stuff that
you got a good start going,
picked up this year.
Really
and
yeah, you do.
I hope to continue that this year. And because I don't always pick up everything, like, because there's certain things that come out where it's like, that's pretty cool, but I don't know if I necessarily want that. But then there's things where it's like, I knew that they were only pressing this, this is like the first time that they'd only pressed it, and it was in this specific kind of variant and stuff like it.
Unless they ever re-release it, they probably released it on like a 200 or 500 count, and that was it. And that's all there ever will be, unless they re-release it or something. That's usually how this shit's been working, at least lately.
Yeah. So, just, I don't know. It's pretty cool to, especially because, like, over the last, I don't know, I started really kind of getting into this, like 2 years ago, and now I'm still like, I've like, I got like holy grails and shit that, like, I would like, I was online last night looking for Slipknot vinyls, and I came across somebody that was selling Iowa for like $400, and I was like, don't do it, you don't need it, but like, imagine if you had it.
That's one of those where it's like, how much do I really need this $400? Like, really?
Exactly. Like, dude, that's like, I think my last, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah,
I'm like, terrible influence when it comes to this.
And I'm pretty, oh, dude, I know we've talked about it. Like, I know I've sent you things that I've found that I've been like, stop me, please. Like, so anyway, Eternal Blue, Spirit Box,
number 7.
If you don't take anything else from this, like, seriously listen to this album, because I feel like it has something for everybody, and it really is. It really is just a cool record to listen to, and to to kind of just to be able to experience all the way through top to bottom, because I feel like it really has something for everybody that, even if you're not into heavy music, I feel like you can at least appreciate parts of this. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So that takes the number 7 spot. I'm gonna move real quick, but I'm literally gonna take 2 steps into my bedroom to grab something. So I will be right back. Not even enough to pause it. So 1 second, 2 seconds.
All right.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry. So number 7, Eternal Blue, Spirit Box. Brilliant. You've sold me. I'm definitely going to sit down and spend some time. I've been already meaning to. And then when you just had them up on Spotify, that's one thing I forgot to mention. Damn. How many tracks is that? 14, 15 tracks?
Damn it. If I could figure out
something like that. It's a beefy album.
It is. Yeah, it's about 12 songs.
12 songs, and every single one of them has well over 1 million plays on Spotify. Every track.
Let me open that back up. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
every single track has 1.5 plus million plays. Every single track. The lowest is 1,426,717 plays. That's the lowest. Is
And
a
that's-
million and a
yeah.
half. That's I mean, yeah, no, like that, those kind, you don't see those kind of numbers. So yeah, that's definitely something I need to spend some time with for sure, that I will plan on doing. Next.
I wouldn't like. Oh. Oh fuck, man. Oh yeah, because the book's in there.
What is
Anyway, yeah. Sorry. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Are we so at this point we are like you got this, so this is your last one of the ones that we didn't agree
Well,
on.
last
Not
two.
necessarily didn't agree on, but like
There's I got two, and then we get into the ones we agree on. I don't know how that happened.
yeah, I don't know either.
That's weird. We fucked something up. Oh well. All right. Well, then I'll change it up a little bit. The second to last one I'm going to talk about before we get into the ones we agree on is another EP. And I'm going to need your help on this one on Spotify again. I want to say, because I don't have a physical copy, I want to say it's 5 or 6 songs, something like that. I'm talking about a band who we know called Interpreter.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And they released Dirt Mound, the Dirt Mound EP earlier this year. I got it right here, actually.
So I'm trying to get this back.
No, you're
in
good.
where
You're good.
it's-
You're good. I got you.
We're supposed to be, and then I'll pull it up.
Interpreters Dirt Mound. There we go. 6-track EP. They actually had 2 really good guests on it too. Now this I'm pretty sure I did like a dark reactions on this or something, but this EP, what did I say? Yeah, I said it walks a graveyard path between core death with a little tech mixed in. And they marry these sounds flawlessly, and it's a masterclass in brutality. Really, like from the beginning, you know what? Let me just fuck it. We already fucked up, so we might as well just go. Who fucking cares?
Oh wait, hang on a sec. Hang on.
Oh yeah, that's right. This one starts off with like with a sample from the Devil's Advocate or whatever that movie's called with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. Devil's something. I can't remember. But I mean,
Which song is it?
Summoned. Yeah, play a little bit of Summoned. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Dirt Mountain. There we go. Just you know what? Do Warmonger. Yeah. Give me like, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Bah.
That is what's up. So yeah, there we go. Very deathy, but it has like the rhythmic elements of the core. But the like the alarm clock riffs and that stuff. For whatever reason, I just associate that with tech. I don't know why. I don't know where I get that, but
That's fair.
that's why I kind of, because you kind of always hear it in tech death, that like really fast kind of shit.
Yeah. Can we hang on? I hate to like cut this in half, but give me a second. I gotta let my cat through.
yeah, that's fine.
And I also got to piss too. So
All right, here,
We'll
I'll
probably
put it
stop.
on quick
So
pause. All right.
hang on. Well, let's yeah, go ahead.
So number seven on the list is going to be our brothers. And yeah, Aaron, I need your help on Spotify with this one. Our brothers from Tennessee. We're talking Interpreter. Interpreter released the EP, the 5-track EP Dirt Mound earlier this year, which just, I mean, God damn it. Yeah, this is what I have written down for it. It walks a graveyard path between core depth with a little bit of tech mixed in. And they marry these sounds flawlessly for a masterclass in brutality. And there's just no question of that. Give me like start at like 10 seconds of Warmonger. Started like 10. Yep, right there. Just give him a little taste. Just give him a little taste. Oh. God damn! All right.
God damn.
It's the nastiest, dude.
So sick.
Very much to some points you were making earlier, very much in a similar vein of your filth or your spite. Bands like that in a lot of ways, I feel just unapologetically ruthless.
Very down tempo stuff, man.
Very down tempo. But you know, it's every single time that it comes on, I'm just like, don't be near me. Like, this is crowd killer shit right here. This is
how I feel about Acacia Strain.
Yes.
Why I like it so much.
Yeah, very kind of like that. Like they have been on our show before. We need to get them back, quite frankly. It's been a while since we talked to those boys.
Yeah, we do.
And I mean, yeah, this one came out. I think I did a Dark Reflections for it, but oh man. Talked about them. They had a couple really cool guests on the last two tracks. I'm not sure if it lists them. Yeah, it doesn't look like it lists them here.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Yeah, there we go. Casey Luther. Yeah. Fucking great.
Who I could be wrong about this, but I think when we talked to them, they mentioned that I don't feel like they were actually in. Well, I think one of them was in a local band, but the other one had never done vocals before, or like never done like.
Oh fuck, that's right. I think that was them.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but I feel like one of them had been. I don't think it's gonna pull it up because Spotify is weird like that, but.
Yeah, I guess that's it for that guy. I know Johnny Tsunami. That sounds familiar though. I feel like he's done other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know. But either way, this is 22 minutes of devastating and has one of my favorite intros of the year, actually. God damn it. I wish I could remember the name of that movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves, where Al Pacino plays Satan, the devil. Is it the Devil's Advocate? It's the Devil's something that starts with an A, but I can't remember if that's it or not. But there's a great monologue in that movie where Al Pacino is talking about God and what a piece of shit he is. And they use that for the intro, and it's fucking, but it's like a distorted on their tracks.
Was the Devil's Advocate, by the way.
Devil's Advocate, nice.
Yeah.
And it was like all distorted and shit, but it's such a great fucking monologue. And once you realize what it is, you're like, oh, and fucking then it just kicks in, and it's, yeah, man. I'm a sucker for samples. We've talked about it many times. I'm a sucker. Anytime there's a good sample on an album, I am in for it. I'm there for it. And it's a great sample. It's just one that this is, you know, you want to start a mosh pit in your bedroom, you put this on. Like that's what this is. Like this shit is gnarly. And we have not gotten to see them live yet. I hope that changes this year. Because I would love to see some of these tracks live. So absolutely amazing.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. It blows me away every single time I hear it again. And it's definitely one that I've gone back to many times, and you're going through the fucking list, and then you get to that one and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Every time. It's just undeniable. It's undeniable. So absolutely, Interpreter, you guys fucking rule. You deserve a spot on the list. So you got it. And you know, it's another one where I just don't feel like hardly enough people are talking about it.
Yeah.
These guys these guys are great and they know what the fuck they're doing. Man, outstanding. Out fucking
Oh, yeah.
standing.
Yeah, I love Dr. Discontent's good.
Yeah.
The Summoned is fucking sick.
Yeah.
I've always been, because that's, you know, I keep making the poll for Acacia, but like they kind of remind me of like Continent, like the Dead Walk kind of era Acacia, where it's just like fucking just raw and like pretty groovy in certain points, where it just kind of like there's just riffs that get your head nodding, and like you know, the blast beat sections in certain songs, like it's just, yeah, it's really fucking cool. It's a cool album. It's a cool EP to listen to.
Great.
I hope that they kind of expand on the creepiness, like the you know, of the samples and everything, of like the ambient sound, because that's something I feel like they do really well. It's just they build that like atmosphere, the ambience,
build the feeling.
Like,
yeah.
Kind of pull you into it. Makes you feel like you're being buried alive.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good way to put it. And and ironically, I said that it walks a graveyard path. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the number 6 spot. And then the number 5 spot, before we get into the last 4 that we agree on. The number 5 spot I gave to a band from Brazil. That is in a weird way also kind of a bit of something of a super group in some ways. Because they had already released a couple albums, and then there was a massive breakup where it was just like one person was left, and she reassembled a whole new lineup. I'm talking about Nervosa's new album, Perpetual Chaos.
Sick.
Guided by Evil song, dude, is unfucking deniable.
Yeah.
So Prika, the guitarist, brought together bassist Mia Wallace, vocalist Diva Satanica, and I can't remember the drummer's name right now. That's on me. I cannot remember her name right now. But it's an all female lineup, and I'm talking like it's got every ounce of thrash and groove that has made the metal that come out of Brazil Brazil is a hot spot, man. Anytime a new band I hear about coming out of South America in general, really ever since Sepultura, right? Ever since then, there has been a very specific and unique groove, thrash, heavy sound coming out of there that is just unfucking deniable. Like, yeah, that's right. We had some great guests on that one too. One of them from Flotsam and Jetsam, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of them is from Flotsam. Top to bottom, what do we got? 44 minutes. Does not feel like it. Feel like you start this one, you can't stop from top to bottom and all the way. Oh, and I can't remember which one of the guest vocals it was. Yeah, find me the drummer name.
Yeah, I think it's in here somewhere.
There we go. Eleni.
Yeah.
Eleni. Yeah. Yep. That's right. My bad. But Sao Paulo, Brazil is where they have most of their views. Nice. And Rio de Janeiro. Nice.
Oh yeah.
They're getting that hometown support. I like it.
Yeah.
This is like arch enemy, but more thrash than Swedish kind of sounding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so Diva Satanica's vocal performance is one of my favorite vocal performances in a long time, really. Like Angela Gossout, like it's like her and like Randy Bly, Winston from Parkway, Dez, and Alexi were like always my favorite vocalists. But she but Angela stood on her own from them because her vocal performances were always so, they had a ferociousness that the others just didn't.
Yeah.
And Diva Satanica kind of really captures that again in her vocal performance on this album. This real genuine, like a bite. It's got a bite to it, a ferocious bite in her vocal performance that I'm absolutely addicted to. I just think it adds an element of heavy that's undeniable. And that now, so yes, they are like, originally Nervosa started as an all Brazilian band, and then they all kind of like broke up, and Prika kind of like brought the new members in. Most of the new members are not from Brazil. They're from different parts of the world. So you hear that's part, I never even thought about that. That's part of what makes this album so damn good, is it has the foundation of all the amazing music that we know to come from South America, but then it's got all these elements from Spain and from France and things like that, where these other members are from, that come together and blend uniquely but perfectly.
Yeah.
So honestly, this was kind of a sleeper for a minute for me, because I forgot it came out this year. I thought it had come out last year because it came out about a year ago. It came out in January of 2021. So it had been like a minute. Like it's been out for a year at this point, basically. And so I kind of forgot that was this year. But it was an album that I was anticipating for quite a while, because just like you with Spirit Box, I just stumbled across the first single one night randomly on YouTube. I was like, who in the fuck is this?
You know,
shit.
Who has the fucking audacity to be this heavy?
Yeah.
It's fucking good.
and man, and so like I kind of like I found him like that, and then I started following him on all the social media, and then they brilliantly they started putting videos up on YouTube of like the whole process of making of this album and stuff.
Yeah,
I am such a sucker for that. So I watched all that, and I'm just sitting there waiting, and this album finally gets here, and it got me. It got me good. Now,
all gas, no brakes, man.
Yeah, yeah. It did, and I know why, and we'll get to it. It did. I know why I kind of like forgot about it for a little while, because it came out at a certain point in time of last year where we'll get to it. But
yeah,
it fucking, yeah, man. It's just, I couldn't, and then on top of that, like following them through the album release, and then everything that they've done since then, seeing some of the tours that they've been on. Sadly, they haven't been to the States yet. But they've been touring with, oh my God, everybody. Oh, fuck me. They were here in October with Cradle of Filth.
Oh yeah.
But
Yep.
But one of them, or somebody somewhere involved, got COVID, and so they couldn't play the Detroit show. Which that would have, if I had gone to that show and found out Nervosa wasn't going to play, I would have been very upset, because that would have been 90% of the reason I was going.
Yeah.
But so they have played up here. So hopefully they do come back in this year, and we get a chance to see them, because I think live they're going to be. Oh wait, nope, I fucked that up.
That was
Once Human. That was Once Human. I fucked that up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Cheers, everybody.
Hey, I've been waiting. So hey, time
there we
go.
Yep. I fucked that up. Sorry, that was Once Human.
Yeah,
Not Nervosa. Yeah. Nervosa has not been here yet. Yeah. So hopefully we do get to see it. I would personally much rather them come here on their own headlining tour. I'd love to see that. But I just think that it's great cover art. We got the Grim Reaper. I'm a sucker for that. And
you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. No. And 13 songs. Under Ruin is a great song. Even the last track, Under Ruin. All of them. It's all killer, no filler. 13 tracks of all killer. And this is yes. And this is a full-length album. And I have not seen it on anyone else's list. And it deserves top spots on a lot of people's lists. It does. It does the work. It does the heavy. It's groovy. It's got a great rhythm. It's fucking nonstop headbanging. It's top to bottom, man. Top to bottom. It's fucking great.
I mean,
might want to jump in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Got quite an intro. Like, listen to that stuff. Very doomy. Yes.
That is, yeah. I don't know. I just want to keep listening to it. No, that is one of the things that I loved about this band when you were first showing them to me was how, you kind of touched on it, the fact that so many of that, like and that's something I'm always really interested in, mostly just because of how it works, because I've never been able to have it make sense where it's a band, but all of the members are from a different part of the world. Like they're all, even from different states. It just doesn't make sense in my head. So when you say that, it has moments of the Sepultura and the Metallica stuff, but then it just has, even Slayer like that. I mean, fuck that.
Oh, there's one of the
initial riff is like that's Slayer all day.
That's Slayer all day. And I think go down a little bit real. Oh no. Yeah, I think it's the second. I think Genocidal Command featuring Schmear. Who the fuck is Schmear? Can you click on that? Yeah. Fans also like Slayer. Yeah, I can't remember what band he's from, but he has a moment in that track where he literally does that.
Oh yeah.
Literally. So there's a lot heavy Slayer influence. If you're a fan of any of the bands that we just mentioned, you will fucking love this album. It's Slayer, Metallica, Sepultura, Iron Maiden, and Arch Enemy rolled into one.
Hey,
where are you going wrong?
I couldn't think of a better way to describe that.
And as always,
with a little Susaw Lamb of God in there, I'd say a little touch of Lamb of God, a little touch of the new wave of a little touch of the new wave of American bands. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's brilliant. It's just
global metal at its finest.
Well, yeah. And what I will say though is that they did record this album together in a studio. It was not done like online or anything like that.
Yeah,
I know that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they did it down in South America, I want to say, but in Brazil. But I think that's where the videos that they were posting on YouTube were at.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, if anything is gonna sell anybody. I mean, aside from just how fucking cool of an album this is, just based on the fact that like they all, you could tell each of them had their own influence into this, and they all put it into like every song and everything that they do. But it also like, if you're like us and you enjoy the creative process of what goes into this, and if you enjoy kind of seeing what went into watching, your favorite records, definitely check out the making of like little bits that they have on YouTube, because it's really cool how it all comes together and how they, how it all, when I was from like start to finish.
And when I was watching it, all I thought about was how if I were to ever go into a studio with 3 or 4 other guys and make an album, this is how I would want to do it. Because 90% of the time when one of them is up doing their part, there's 2 or 3 more of them sitting on the couch in the background just losing their shit. It's awesome.
That is me.
Yes.
Like in a nutshell, like it doesn't matter how many times I've heard the same riff be played
Yeah.
over and over again. Like I'm in the back, like
Dude, we wrote this shit.
just
This is the mad
yeah,
notes, yo.
yeah. And that energy transfers over to this record. Like
Yes.
when you listen to it, it just has this
It's
this
intense. It's
liveness to it. Yeah.
yes, there's a liveness. There's a liveness to it. It's intense. It's dark. It's heavy, but it also I don't know, when I listen to it, and maybe it's because I watched those YouTube videos or whatever, but when I listen to this album, I'm like, they had so much fucking fun making this. Like,
Oh, yeah,
it feels
yeah.
good. You know, it gives me a very good feeling.
Yeah.
So
I know exactly what you mean. Like there's certain albums that I've seen that exact thing from, as far as like the making of stuff, which is why I love that so much. And I wish, and I hope that bands continue to do that. 'Cause
yes,
that's one of those things that, like, because, like, you know, like you kind of, you know, you call back to the things, like certain bits of specific songs that, like, you know, like there's this little thing that might be like in a part of like a couple of seconds of the song, but it just, like, based on how they recorded it and how they put it all together, like you just, you know, you feel it differently because you know how it was all put together, and like how it all, you know, it's just it's cool to be able to associate that with what ended up on the album. So
Yeah.
and this to me feels like a very, you know, a band that wanted to make a very live sounding record with just no frills, and just wanted to just go and just write something really aggressive with the new lineup and stuff, and that's exactly what it is. And
they
like
fucking
I mean,
just
shit,
kick
like,
down that door.
I got a 2021 playlist, and fucking it's like one of the third things on it. So
Hell yeah, dude.
it's, yeah,
That's
I
the
was just
shit.
looking at that. So
So
yeah.
that is that's the 5 spot. Nervosa takes the
Mm.
5 spot because it was an album that I was highly anticipating up to its release.
That's a good pick, man.
And
I need to revisit this one.
yeah, they oh man, it's definitely one I go back to on a very, very regular basis. And when I realized, oh shit, that did come out this year, I was like, they got it. Yeah. I was so excited for that when it came out. And every single track, top to bottom, is pitch perfect.
13 songs of the deep cuts. What's some that you'd recommend?
Well, Under Ruin is amazing.
Under Ruin,
Um,
last track. Do you like, so when we're and because I don't think we've ever touched on this, we've ever talked about this, when you are listening to something and like curating this list for the year, because I know I have a very specific way of doing it as well. Like, do you, and even like when you're listening to new albums, or like when you're trying to like get a feel for it, because to me, I feel like it's the first song and it's the last song that really, like, I feel like the band puts the most into, and then everything else in the middle is what it is. But I feel like if you have a strong start and a strong ending, then like it's, and really where I kind of started noticing this was Black Dahlia Murder with Ritual, because it starts with A Shrine to Madness and it ends with Blood in the Ink, which is just hitters, man. But like,
Yeah.
they both have their place, and I feel like one is a really strong opening, one is a really strong ending. So do you listen to records like a certain way, and like when you pick these, or like are there, like, because to me, you know, and we'll get into this with the honorable mentions, I suppose, but like, you know, there are moments where I, like, you know, I'll get like, because when I sit down to start a record, when I start to listen to something, when I try to figure out like where it or just for enjoyment's sake, like if I haven't heard something, or like if I've only worked my way through, like, you know, let's say, like, because this, you know, this is a 13 song record. Let's say like I started on track 1 and I went to like 7 and I was like, fuck yeah, this is sick. I really like it. A lot of times, if I'm honest, I'll start with the last song and then I'll work my way back. So I'll kind of like, because I feel like as a musician and as somebody that's put together, you know, records before, like I feel like the last song has to hit the same way that the first song does. Like, it has to grab you the same way. And like some of these, like, and that's why a lot of times when we're listening to stuff, I'll ask you like, oh, is there like kind of with Card Effects, for example, like that was a record that like I wasn't necessarily super familiar with the middle part of it, but I knew that like somewhere in there was like some fucking gems. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, Godless Prisoner, Godless Prisoner, and Time to Fight are definitely two more.
Yeah.
But that, you know,
Like,
I agree that it needs to have a strong opening and a strong ending. I agree with that. I don't think I've ever started at the bottom though and worked my way back. That's really interesting. Not really. I mean, honestly, it's not like a specific way or anything. It's just like, does it hit me or not is really like the biggest factor. Does it hit me and how?
Yeah.
I like kind of where it's the starting point. Did it grab me? Okay.
Yeah.
Why? And then I figure out why.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have like a method.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just wanted to know like if there was any kind of way that you like piece these together. Because to me, like I mean, especially with the ones that we've talked about up to this point, and even further, like even some of the honorable mentions. You know, I find myself like starting it and really like getting into the first half of it and then realizing that like the last half, like there's some fucking fire there. Like there's some shit I should be paying attention to at the end of it.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily get that when you listen to something top to bottom. You know, that really kind of, you know, it doesn't grab you until you like the second or third listen.
There are certain there definitely are certain times where it's like just due to circumstance, because typically I like to listen to the album first time in the car, and so it'll be like a couple days will go by, and just because of where I'm driving or whatever, I only get through the first half, and then it'll get to a point where I realize that, and I'm like, why? Then I start in the middle somewhere and finish it out, you know?
Yeah. Then you're like, holy shit, how I'm a fucking fool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that all of this was in the middle half of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's it. Number 5, Nervosa takes the top spot.
Check them out, man. They're fucking
check them out.
Sick, honestly. Like that's a band that I'm gonna revisit.
And I actually for the record, I do have a physical copy. It's just not it's not here right now.
Cool.
But yeah, definitely get yourself a physical copy of Nervosa.
What's that one? Perpetual Chaos.
Yeah, Perpetual Chaos. Now we get into our final 4, which
the final 4, baby.
You and I have both agreed on. In this first one, I don't think physical copies exist.
I don't know if they do. I haven't actually honestly searched for it.
I have. And I'm under the impression that I'm 99. Like, what I read was that they might get some in the future, but right now it's just digital.
It's okay.
So we're gonna need Mr. Spotify to help us with this one.
Got you.
Right now we're talking about Scion.
Yeah, man.
Which is a very unique situation. It is a full-length album, but can you call this a band?
I might learn a thing or two about this while we're doing this, because I honestly haven't looked into too much of the history of why this is all I know of this is that it is a project with Jared Dines, who, if you don't know, and you should know, he's been a YouTuber for a long time, like within I say by the early mid 2000s he started getting he started his YouTube career mid 2000s, I guess, and ever since then he's had a variety of different channels and stuff, but I don't feel like he's ever actually put out anything that's been a real project. And the thing that is notable about this is that he filled in for guitar for Trivium when Matt Heafy wasn't able to be on tour, I believe. And I'm let me look this up real quick. But let's talk about the record. In the
So
meantime, I want to look up a little bit of history about that before I start talking about it.
I don't
That was pretty
totally
specific.
know like how really this came about or whatever, but for me, it was I stumbled across when they released The Blade, the first single.
Yeah,
Stumbled across that on YouTube. And of course, we're talking Jared Dines is the guitar player. And then he got the likes of the one and only Howard Jones on vocals. And this is actually what I was going to say earlier about when you were showing some Spirit Box music.
yeah,
The guitar kind of sounds like on this album.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah,
The tone like
Yeah.
really reminded me of this right here.
it's very rooted in metalcore and
Yeah.
that kind of sound.
Yeah. And when I heard The Blade, like I was like,
Blew me away, dude.
I was like, Howard, where is
Yeah.
this band? Like,
Yeah. I also didn't really know what to make of it because I was like, okay, well, what is this? Is this
Yeah.
a band? Is this
yeah, we didn't.
You know?
Nobody really knew when it came out that it
Yeah.
was going to be a full. As a matter of fact, it came out. Nobody really knew what was going on. Howard Jones and Jamie Jost are very, very good friends in real life. So Howard Jones is a regular occurrence on the Josta show, and there was an episode
Yeah.
on there where because there's also a section of the Josta show where they let the Patreon people come in and ask a question, and somebody was like, "What's up with Scion?" And he's like, "We got a full album. It's gonna come out sometime later this year." And I was like, "What? There's more of that?" Like, so that's like
Yeah.
how I found out this was even going to be a full length project. I don't know who the fuck does the drums or the bass for it. I have no idea. It might just be
I
Jared,
do
for all
not
I know.
know
But
either. Yeah.
it is. I mean,
I wish I would have looked in.
and I think I remember posing this question to you at some point. Did Howard ever go that hard on vocals, even in Kill Switch? Like, it seems like this is a bit harder than what he normally went with.
Yeah, and that is my favorite bit of this, and what I'm seeing right now is that not finding an actual drummer on it. But anyway, we will talk about the project, which is Scion right now. Which I feel like will kind of narrow things down a little bit. And as far as I know, that is just Howard Jones and Jared Dines. I don't know who else is
As far as
involved
I
in
know
it.
as well. Yep.
So that's what we'll keep with it, because
Yep.
otherwise we'll just go down rabbit holes and shit. So we will just talk about the project that is Scion. Yeah, man, as far as like anything that Howard has done prior, like because I mean, let's think. So Howard Jones has been in he was in Kill Switch, and then he left Kill Switch because of a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
You can always look that up. We're not here to tell the story, we're just here to talk about it. So there's that.
And then Light the Torch.
That was
right?
a few years ago. Light the Torch, I was definitely a fan of. I really, dude, I loved the last record they put out. It was I know for a fact it was in my honorable mentions for the year it came out.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I believe it was called Revival, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that. Yeah.
I can see the picture, but it was like, I like, when I say I'm a fan of Howard Jones as a musician, as a vocalist, as an artist, I truly, honestly mean it. It's the same way that I'm a genuine fan of Corey Taylor as a musician, as an artist.
Yeah.
And I will support anything he does, anything that comes out past, any of the projects. I know that just from listening to the Josta podcast that he's had, speaking about Howard, he's had a very tumultuous relationship with the music industry, with being in bands, with being in Kill Switch, which consequently led him to leaving Kill Switch, just from, just being unhappy, just being pretty depressed and just not really wanting to be a part of it anymore. So to have works of music that he's put out, that he's had his official stamp on, come out and to be this good, like this is like Scion is all of my favorite parts of like Howard Jones era Kill Switch, and like my favorite parts of like the Torch, because I have one of their albums and I listened to Revival quite a bit, the new, like the record that came out. Like I was a pretty big fan of any, just a lot of the projects that he's been in. And so to have this come through and be as strong as it is, and to kind of like harken back to, like End of the Heartache, fucking As Daylight Dies, like stuff that he's done with Kill Switch, that was like my favorite, that really got me into what is the metalcore genre, I suppose, for whatever it's worth. I can't recommend this enough. And if you haven't heard it, man, it is like, like some of
Juggernaut.
some of my favorite vocal performances he's ever done
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
this album.
Absolutely.
Just, and that's saying a lot, considering he's done a lot of stuff that I've been a fan
It's
of.
an amazing career. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, The Worst Way, I think I've played so many times, more than just myself, is amazing. A Constant Reminder with Jason Richardson. Something to Live For is fucking sick. It really kind of came out of nowhere, man. Like,
Yeah, it really did.
It was one of those that like we'd heard about it just as being fans of the Josta show.
Yeah.
And I, just being a fan of Howard in general, like I
Mhm.
always knew that this was something that was kind of, in the works, something that was kind of like on the back burner, but I never knew that it was like this. And
Yeah.
and the thing that sticks out to me the most, outside of just his vocal performance, is like the music, and just like sonically, what they're doing, and like what each of the songs are able to do, like how creative some of the guitar bits are. And there's a part, I wish I could remember what song it was, but like it breaks into this rhythmic, like chugging bit that just like, I want to say to More Than Just Myself, where it's like it's almost a breakdown where it like stops with all the vocal stuff, but then it just kind of like, it has this really cool like driving feel to it. I feel like, I feel like it was maybe in the later sections. Skyfall,
So
same
good.
exact thing. I absolutely love the hook on it.
Mhm.
I think it's so cool, like how they put together the the little like backing bits of it, like the double vocals on it that sound cool. I love Endless War. Constant Reminder is cool. The Blade, just like
It's brilliant.
as an intro track, as just one that just comes through and is just like, this is what you're gonna get for the rest of the fucking like 45 minutes of this album. Is just like, man, like Buried Alive and Wide Awake has one of the coolest hooks on it. Like it's just, it's I feel like we would be doing a insane disservice to this album if we didn't at least mention it, because it is just, it's so like there's so much like heart to it,
Yes.
like when I listen to it, it just sounds like, like they made it with the intention of really trying to like, capture an emotion, capture that like that feeling of like the best bits of what everybody was capable of. And I really wish that I was able to touch on who else played on the record, because I know, at least I feel like there was a few others that were involved in it, but everything that I'm finding is just Howard and Jared. It's not to take anything away from it, but I kind of like, if there was anybody else that played on it, I just, because a lot of the drum work on it's really cool. There's some really cool bits on it. But it just, and that's kind of the other thing is, as I was listening through to it, like there's so many moments in it where you know, as being a fan of this style of music for so long, I feel like it would have kind of like overstayed a little bit, or like I would have kind of like heard things that I would have already heard before, and it just kind of would have like turned me off to it. But like every song, man, like it has those moments where like it's just like interesting riffing, like creative riffing, creative drum
Yes.
parts. Like there's a hook, there's a vocal line in it that's really cool that just kind of grabs you, you know, like it just, I don't know what it is about it, but it just
It does a weird thing where like yeah, to your point, it like it like harkens back to like early 2000s like new wave American heavy metal in some ways.
yeah,
But there's nothing,
but it like, it's like modernized.
not a single second of it feels old.
Yeah,
It all feels brand new.
yeah,
And they just perfectly like blend like melodic catchy choruses with intensity. And yeah, I mean, this is another one that I just cannot believe isn't getting what I feel the love it deserves from everybody else's lists. I really think this is not just a standout, but every song on this album could be a #1 hit on the radio. You know what I mean? It totally works for that.
yeah,
And I mean, I don't listen to regular radio, but I don't know if any of it's ever been on it. You know, they always play Kill Switch. They always play Like the Torch. I don't know. Maybe The Blade has been played on the radio for all I know. I don't know. But
yeah,
I just feel like turn the clock back 10, 15 years. This comes out then and it's on every 20 minutes on the radio. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%.
You know, with how much they fucking play the Holy Diver cover, which is one of my favorite covers of all time.
Oh, it's undeniable. Yeah,
I mean, this it's like this fits in that mold like perfectly. Like,
yeah,
Jared kills it. Everybody just, this one,
yeah.
like you said, a bit of a sleeper. We didn't know what was coming. We really knew what the hell this even was. And then they just dropped this on our laps. So here you go.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking masterpiece. Almost 45 minutes of all killer, no filler. Like, it's great.
I mean, as far
and
as
it moves through different. You start with The Blade really, really heavy, but what was it? It's either The Worst Way or More Than Just Myself. Whatever, like the second or third single was, is a lot slower.
Yeah,
It's a lot. So it really moves through the whole gambit of everything. And yeah.
I think it's that. So let me see if I can. I want to try it. Yeah. This bit is what I'm talking about. Like, just the way that this riff comes back in, and then they end the song with the chorus is just like chef's kiss, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool.
And he's just screaming. Oh, those drums, dude.
Yeah.
Who the fuck? We need to figure out who that is.
Yeah. And that was one of the singles too.
Yeah.
Like, So anyway, it's fucking. I can't think of a better
#4.
I mean, like that was another one too, man. Like I didn't expect that to hit quite as hard as it did.
Nope.
But
I knew I was going based off the first two singles alone. I was like, I'm gonna really like this. I already knew I was gonna like it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to like it this much.
Yeah.
It really they did something really fucking special with this one. They really like, it stands out, and away from like it I don't know how to put it. Like it man, for someone that grew like us, for people that grew up hearing his voice, you know what I mean? And so many different projects and so many critical projects. How many times have you seen this guy live? We've probably seen him live a bunch of times. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of like one of like the how do you put this? Like
He's
like
a bit of
the old let's be
pioneer for
very much so. But let's be real. On a certain level, we've lost a lot of the old guard, right? Like Dio, you know, I don't even have to go down the list. We've lost a lot. We still have some. We've lost a lot, but there's a new guard coming, and I feel like that includes Howard Jones, Randy Bly, Jamie Jasta, Zach Wilde. You know what I mean? Like these Corey fucking Taylor, these are like the next Ozzy's, the next Dios, the next Dickinsons. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of, and he's right there shoulder to shoulder with all of them as far as I'm concerned. I was once on
100%.
fucking side stage watching him sing with Kill Switch at DTE. I was on the side of the fucking stage. And I remember just standing there like,
dude, he's incredible. Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like it was oh my God. No, yeah. Like Howard is absolutely one of my favorite metal vocalists like of all time, even though he's probably like I don't own a Kill Switch album. I'm gonna be honest. So he's probably one of the. Oh wait, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. But he's probably one that I know his body of work the least in comparison to all the others I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But to me, he stands right there between everything that he's done, between all the times I've heard him on the Josta show, because I listen to every fucking episode. Same. And now with this, just to me, it's just like as a fan, it feels like just boom, like a stamp, boom, this is what I just did. Check it out. You know what I mean? And it's so fucking good. It's And another thing we should probably mention, let me see here. That on our list, that's the newest release on our list. We have been able to spend the least amount of time with this than anything else on this fucking list. This shit dropped a month and a half ago. But dropped in November. So we spent the least amount of time with this one, and it was number 4. Like,
I mean, that by itself should say all it needs to.
Yeah.
And that, like, you know, that's over like everything else. But it's just a matter, like I said, man, it's just a matter of the fact of just being a fan of what's come before and just recognizing what this is.
Raw fucking talent that this man has.
Like,
who the fuck else pulls off a Dio cover? I mean,
yeah.
Nobody like that.
That's as good or debatably better than the original.
At least comparable.
Yeah, comparable.
At least comparable.
Yeah. You don't want to do a disservice, but at the same time, like it just not. That. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, man. Dude. Check good. Fucking check Scion.
If you don't know Scion.
Yeah.
That rock you're under, lift it up like Spider-Man, and get out there and listen to some fucking Scion. I don't know. We'll probably never see them tour. I don't know if they'll ever release anything ever again, but I am so happy and thankful that we got these 13 tracks that are just magical. Yeah. They're magic.
Yeah. I continue to keep going back to it.
Me too.
Just because it's just simply just by proxy of being a fan of Howard, I knew going into it I was going to be a fan of it. And then the fact that it was as good as it is, and like every song that comes, like every song that's after, like, you know, because you like even as I was listening to it, I was like, oh, this song's pretty cool. It's pretty different from the last one. Like, and the next one is like just as different as the one before. Is like it kind of keeps you guessing, you know.
Yeah. It's
really
all,
unique.
and it all feels it's very unique, and it feels very fresh.
Yeah.
It feels, it's got a very, it's like you're walking around in the produce section. Like it's got a very, just a fresh, feels fresh. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
But I love it. I don't know. It's an amazing album. I really hope that they
I hope to see
they
more
do
from
get
it.
some.
Yeah.
I hope to see more. I hope they do get around to getting some. I would love a physical copy of this
Same.
album. I
Yeah.
really would.
Yeah.
That would mean a lot to me. So hopefully we get to see that. But that Scion takes Filthy 15's number 4 spot.
So that leaves the top 3, man. The top 3.
Now we're taking a hard right.
Yeah.
We're driving down the road to Scion and we go. we flip the car and park it like Ace Ventura.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Oh.
Damn, man. I didn't even think about that.
Good pull, man. Good segue.
Yep.
Good segue, because the next one we got to talk about is no less of a slouch. Like in a very real way.
There they are. 9 through 15 9 through 4 unfucking real. There is some unfucking real shit in that. Amazing albums. So many amazing albums have come out this year, and I can't get enough of them. They really are, like, just a lot of releases this year just absolutely floored us, and we left you on a good teaser there to lead into the next segment. So that's going to do it for this episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed these albums as much as we do. If you did, if you didn't, let us know in the comments below. We want to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. And as always, we'll be back very, very soon with the finale. So buckle up, everyone. We got a lot more coming. Raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death. Good night.